Live.
You're not late, Dom. We just got live.
Late?
Haven't done it
We
for.
just started.
We haven't done this for a long time because we've been very busy. What have we been doing, Chris?
We're working well. Done painting for the day. So by day we paint. By night we work on the Paint Life store. That's going to be opening soon. So that's going to be happening. I don't know. You think in a couple weeks now?
I'm hoping in a month.
In a month.
Oh, maybe
Now
5
it's a
weeks.
month. We say a month every month that goes by.
I know. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So working on the store. I'm going to be giving away some guns. I got, now that we're getting the store ready, I got all kinds of spray guns around here that I need to give away. So I'm going to be giving away a Titan RX80 gun right here. If you need a brand new gun in 517 tip, it can be yours on this
Hi,
live
Joe.
show.
Hi.
So the only
Is
way
that
you
Jenny
can
Tootin?
win this gun is you're going to have to go to our store. So you're going to have to go to Idaho.
He said it's really hard to hear you.
I'm not sure what to tell him.
If I push up, will it hang you up?
And pushing up doesn't do anything.
The volume.
That doesn't do anything. That's your volume. That's not their volume.
No, but to
So
turn your volume on, sometimes it's too low.
it's my volume doesn't have anything to do with it. That's
Oh.
you listening to my volume. When you're listening to my
Jenny
volume.
Tootin's with us.
So,
We've missed you.
Yeah, so, the gun. I'm going to be giving away a gun today. The only way to win the gun is to go to our store, idahopainter.com, and go to the Reamazed app, the help app, where we answer your questions when you have them, when they're store related. So go down there on our website, idahopainter.com. There's a little icon down there, our help icon. Go to the icon, click on it, tell me why you want the gun, and we're going to select one person to receive an RX80 gun. I've got a whole bunch of guns I'm going to be giving away here.
Brother Tech says I have a little issue with my 440 Titan leaking. Any suggestion?
So today we're going to be answering your questions live right here. So if you have a question, ask a question. And so where's it leaking at? That's the first question I'd have to ask. So you're turning the
Yeah,
phone.
I had to see that. So you got to find out where it's leaking. And then Dom says, is it only an online store?
It's not, so we do have an online store. Go to idahopainter.com, and that is our online store. But this is going to be the very first real live Paint Life store. It's Paint Life Supply right here in Boise, Idaho, where you can find me hanging out in the store when I'm not painting to get your questions answered real live. So McKenna's here in the back. So the online store is being run out of the back, and she's here. Lisa's here.
Dom is local, so he's going to have to come in because we're going to have some grand opening and some giveaways. So
We like giving away stuff, so we're going to be in our own store. We're going to be giving away a lot of stuff.
can I turn to show?
You're the boss. You can do anything.
Here, go walk over and sit on the couch
So-
because we're doing this because we want it to be a place where people could come and hang out.
Yeah, so it's more than just a store. So it's going to be a place where we treat the contractors right. You can come in, you can get a free cup of coffee, not just any cup of coffee. We're going to give you the real stuff, the stuff I drink at home.
Oh, I didn't know that.
An espresso. We're going to have an espresso machine here. You drink coffee. We're going to have a TV mounted up here. If
Can
you
I
just
see the
wanna-
couch? Go sit down. So
yeah,
you can
so
sit here.
We've got a couch. You can hang out, have a cup of coffee in a Paint Life cup. We do have toasters too, if you didn't know. You can read Fast and Flawless, written by Pete Wilkinson, if you want to get some tips and tricks on painting. You can go check out the Paint Contractor, the one that just so happens to be me on the cover right there, snowboarding. It's not wintertime, that's old. That was a long time ago. So to be exact, November 2015. So kind of cool. Anyways, it's just going to be kind of a cool experience where you can come here, hang out, learn. If you got questions, you can get them answered by a professional painter that can truly help you out. So
Somebody just went on Reamaze and said, how do I get the free sprayer? You're not giving away a sprayer, you're giving away.
an LX80 gun. This time, if you check me out live. I'm gonna be giving away.
But what do they need to do on Reamaze? Do they need to give their name and email, or what do they need to
Well, you
do?
just go to the app. It's the help app. It's our store, and on our store, when people got questions, they need help. We are actually there to help you. And so when you ask the questions, guess who gets pinged? Me.
But
Lisa
that's
and McKenna.
but that's the question you didn't answer is
I'm
they're on
answering,
Reamaze. What do they
that's
need
I
to
do
put
is
their
I help people, and so I'm answering their question. I'm helping them out. I'm getting.
But when
to
they
the
go to
point.
Reamaze right now, what do they need to put their
That's
name?
what I'm getting to.
Okay, somebody just
So,
was on there, didn't know what to do.
I'm getting there. I'm still trying to get there. So you go down there, and that's a little thing where you can ask questions and stuff like that. Just get on there, post your name, and then if you're the winner, we will ask you for your personal information. You don't have to give us your address and all that stuff right now because you haven't won. So just get on there. You do have to enter a name, like a first name or whatever, who you ever want us to answer to. Tell us why you want an LX80 gun and a Titan 515 tip and guard, why you need this thing. And we're gonna select one person from this video to win a gun. Stay tuned for other live videos on Facebook and YouTube. We're gonna continue to give away more stuff. Oh, Lisa just shows me, we'll give away a couple shirts. So those who don't win the gun, we're gonna give away a couple shirts too, to our store, from our stores. So you might be a winner of a shirt. So if you want to win some, you just gotta, that's the only way you can win, is you gotta go there. It's a little like turquoise, little circle thing. If you're not familiar with those little things, that's just how people do live chats now on websites. If you want help or support, that's the way it's done. So go there, and we'll see if my phone starts blowing up with Reamaze. People jumping on there. That's what the app is Reamaze. So that's how you do it. That's the long version. If you got a question you need help with,
Stephen McKenna said he went to the
ask right
store
now.
and can't find how to get the free paint gun.
So you go to the store, idahopainter.com. Down in the lower right corner, there's a little tiny icon, little circle icon. It's small, down in the lower right corner. And you have to click on that icon. It's going to bring up the chat button. But if you don't allow pop-ups and stuff like that, it's not going to pop up. So on your web browser, like Chrome or whatever, you got to allow pop-ups because it can't. Oh, I just heard it on McKenna's phone. Somebody just sent a message on Reamaze, so somebody figured it out. All right.
So Ivan's from Middleton, and he's starting a painting business. So
Middleton, Idaho?
So
Right
he's
on.
just right down the road from us. So once the store is open, we will be letting everybody know and have some open houses.
If you don't know, if you are local to the local painters, because our retail store is not open yet, we do free local deliveries. So I'm probably sure I shouldn't have advertised that because McKenna's now gonna have to do more deliveries, but we do free local delivery, but we won't be doing that anymore. Once the store opens, we'll allow you to come into the store and buy.
Brandon Ray's with us, and he can't hardly hear you.
And part of like the store itself is, we only sell what I use in my vehicle. All the stuff in this store is stuff that is in my vehicle, so my truck and trailer. It's tools that I use, I trust in and believe. And yeah, some of the tools, they're not like game-changing tools, but I'm a big fan of just kind of like low-priced roller covers and stuff, so you don't have to spend a lot of money. And these actually do last quite a while, and they're not a high-dollar item, but they're super lightweight, easy to use, and you can toss them when you're done using them because they're very inexpensive.
Stand closer, because everybody's saying they can't barely hear you. And I know sometimes the volume's too low, but I don't want to mess with
That
it.
does not adjust the volume, but that's the volume that you
I just made
hear.
the volume up.
That's the volume to you.
So somebody just asked, I was trying to spool to see, have you ever had experience using the fake third-party spray tips?
So that's an interesting question. So fake, I mean, they're real third party. They could be knockoffs or, so I've used, so there's, the big players are Titan and Graco. Here's a Titan tip right here. I like the Titan tips better than any other tips. I think they last longer. I like the HEA tips a lot. They have a nice feathered edge. Graco is another big player. They make tips, but there are other tip makers out there. Tritech makes tips. Bedford makes tips. Both of those tips are actually good. There are other like off-brand, like no-brand China tips. They don't last, and they're kind of hit and miss. You can get them. Some of them won't function properly when you get them. There is a lot to making a tip. The quality of the carbide that goes in the tip, the little tiny carbide pipe part, how the carbide is actually cut. And there was a company that had some problems with some tips that I was testing before, not spraying with some paints, but spraying with others. Come to find out, they weren't back flushing their tips with a diamond solution to clean them after they were being cut. So it causes issues. There's a lot involved to making tips. So not investing in good tips is a bad idea. So we are going to be offering in our store, I sell Titan tips, but we are going to be offering Bedford tips here pretty soon. And Bedford is a USA made tip. They make repacking kits. They make all kinds of parts for all your sprayers, your guns, repacking kits, seal kits, anything and everything for sprayers and spray equipment. And it's all made in the USA, and the tolerances are just the same as OEM products. So tips too. So stay tuned for Bedford tips coming.
So Tyler's from Florida, but he's in Oregon working this month. Why is oil-based stain preferred out here? Oh, shoot.
So oil-based
Well,
stain,
I don't know where the question just went. Okay.
oil-based stain isn't preferred here, but where was he at?
He's working in Oregon right now.
So Oregon is kind of a wet climate, extremely wet climate, depending on where you're at. And some painters prefer oil-based products in wet climates. And so I think that's, you see them along the coast and stuff, but latex technology, it's come a whole long ways in the last 10 years. I prefer only latex products. Oil-based products, especially where it's cool and wet, that's where you run into overspray issues. It can lift because it's tipped sometimes lighter than the air. It'll lift up and can carry for hundreds and hundreds of yards. It dries slow when it's humid and wet, and so it can carry as overspray and cause you all kinds of issues.
Norman Cockburn's with us from Scotland.
Scotland is in the house. How's it going, Norman?
Yes, we haven't been
Cool.
able there for a bit. Why don't you turn one of those things? We're going to have those all over the place to see what some of the products that we're going to be selling.
All right, I can do that.
Well, maybe. They're not all full.
So we got
Connie Remodeling said he learned everything I know about painting from you, made a lot of money painting as well. So that is awesome to hear. That is why we exist.
So that's cool. So glad to help. That's what we're here for, is to educate, empower, and equip painters and contractors, alike worldwide. And so that's what we're passionate about. So glad to help and continue to help. So there's mud. So we did. What did you make? Faces?
No, because I don't know where the feet, you touch it and it disappears. The questions. There we go.
So we started this thing just recently, and for painters by painters, and it's tools created by painters. And I got on my website, scroll down the collections. I got a collection of for painters by painters, and this is painters and
Tradesmen.
tradesmen who have actually invented a product and are trying to sell it to help make some more money and help us out with these really cool products. And I think that's really cool. And we're trying to help support those guys doing the amazing things, inventing stuff, because they're using their minds. They're working hard outside of painting and contracting, and they're just creating great products.
Are they helping you with your jobs?
That's why the ones that I don't just put any product on there, so I get sent a lot of stuff all the time. And only a small percentage of it makes it into my vehicles. And the for painters by painters are some of the really elite products that you need to have, that you should have. And the mud mix ball is one of them. I think this thing is absolutely cool. And if you don't know what it is, go to my store and you can watch a video on what it's used for and how it's used. So mud mix ball is one.
Somebody asked, do we have any of the hose whips?
Hose whips.
Can you explain what we have?
I can. So I'll explain to you. So I got 2 custom hose whips I've designed now for my specifications. What I've been doing over the years, over 20,000 hours of airless spraying and stuff. Our lime green ones are sold out. We still got the yellow ones, so there's a difference. The lime green ones, whips, and then I got my pencil whips. So I've had a few questions over the last few days. What's the difference between the two? This is a 25-foot whip. I have 3-foot, 5-foot, and the same in this 3-foot, 5-foot, and 25-foot. The pencil whip is the inside diameter is smaller than this, so it's softer and more flexible. And I don't know if I got one that's you could grab one that's unleashed or well, here's one hooked up to a gun right here, a sprayer. So there is the whip, and if you don't know what a whip is a lot softer, more flexible than your typical airless spray hose. And I don't have the banding put on my whips because it adds a lot more weight, and it also doesn't make the hose as flexible through the entire length of the hose. So this is the larger one. Is the inside diameter is 3/16 on the larger one, because there's certain heavy products that you wouldn't be able to run through a pencil whip. And a pencil whip, the inside diameter on a pencil whip is 3.2 millimeters, and this is way softer. As you can see, a pencil whip is extremely flexible, extremely soft. This is the inside of the hose. This is a cloth hose, so this one has metal inside of it, so it's a braided hose, and this is a cloth hose inside. And so this one, the same length, would be slightly heavier, but this one will run thicker coatings. They're both still extremely soft. But you can see versus a standard 1/4-inch hose, the whip is a little bit smaller, but now when you compare all 3 of them, a pencil whip is significantly smaller diameter. But I've run through a pencil whip all the years that I've sprayed. I've run elastomeric coatings through the same size of 3.2 millimeter. Had no issues with it at all. I never had any issues, using a pencil whip, but I've never sprayed block filler, so maybe block filler or maybe peel bond wouldn't go through something like this, but you just gotta know what you're spraying. So we still have these in stock, and the 25-foot ones in stock. The 3s and 5s of these, they're being made again. We were selling them like crazy, and hard to keep them in stock. Long answer.
So are there any sprayers that they can't go with?
So the whips themselves will go on any standard hose, and so I used to always tell people, no, it'll go on any hose, any sprayer. It'll go on Graco sprayers, Titan sprayers, Spray Tech, Tri-Tech, but what I ended up finding out is Titan actually makes a sprayer, a do-it-yourself sprayer, sold in a lot of home improvement stores, and it's the Control Max line. So the Control Max line, and Wagner owns Titan, so Wagner has the same model, but it's called something else. The Control Max actually has proprietary fittings on the hose and the ends, which isn't a standard airless hose. Why they do that, I have no idea. I contacted Titan, I've asked them, and they are not really sure why, but you can't buy any hoses and add it to a Control Max. And maybe they're trying to control people, what they're adding to this little tiny do-it-yourself sprayer, so you don't add more hose and blow up the pump or try to add things that you shouldn't be adding to it. But it does not work on the Control Max HEA pumps.
Do you think Graco has a DIY pump that it probably doesn't work to?
I haven't found, so I've got at home, I have multiple Graco do-it-yourself pumps that are sold in the big box stores, and I have a whip on every one of them. So it works, they use standard hoses. The only sprayer that I've found, well, there is another one. It's an off-brand Chinese model that was sent to me from China, and it's like called the Q1 or something like that. It's the same like as the Control Max. It has even the guard, it doesn't have a standard G thread on the guard, so the guard is it, but I don't know if you can even find how that sprayer ended up in my possession. I got 2 of them, but I don't know. They were just sent to me.
So Christopher says, is a Graco Pro X19 paint sprayer a good one?
A Graco, say it again, Graco
Pro 19?
X19.
Yes.
I mean, those are what you typically find in do-it-yourself hardware stores and stuff like that. And you know, it always. I'm not gonna say it's not a bad sprayer. I actually did a video spraying an entire exterior with one of those, and even a really small one, and it sprays paint. I mean, it performs. What it is they're not made to perform for very many hours. So there's actually
gallons.
How many gallons or how many hours it'll last. So they don't last very long. But and then don't try to get a really fine finish on it. And if there's things where it's critical where you don't get dead banding or hourglassing and stuff like that, which that's pretty rare. You're gonna run into that. But it's gonna spray paint. If you need to paint 3 or 4 houses, it's gonna get the job done. You're gonna be a little slower than you would with a professional paint, sprayer, but if your sprayer broke down, if my 1140 right here broke down, I was desperate for a sprayer, I could run to Home Depot, get one of those smaller pumps for $300-400, get the job going, get the job done, and it's gonna be just fine. But it's made for, all those sprayers at the box stores are really made for do-it-yourselfers that are gonna paint their house maybe once or twice a year, do their several fences, a deck, do some interior painting, and that's it. So just be careful what you buy. You get what you pay for.
So somebody wanted to know, when will the paint savers be back in stock?
Yeah, that's a good question. We were selling a lot of them. Those things are really cool. I don't even have one to show you in here. The sprayer savers are really cool. That's another made by a painter for painters. I emailed Caleb, and he, I think, is the brother of the inventor. They're brothers. They paint. A few days ago, and they said 6 weeks. So it was 6 weeks. After 6 or 7 weeks, they said another 6 weeks due to COVID-related manufacturing issues. So it's going to be a long time till they come in, unfortunately.
So somebody wants to know about the leaking Titan 440. You need to know where it's leaking, correct?
Yeah, so where is it leaking? I mean, you could, one of the most common things, your packings begin to fail. You'll get leaking, you'll get the prime, let me grab a sprayer here. This is one of the most common things you're gonna see is your packings wear out. So you have your prime tube right here. Your prime tube, paint will start to ooze out this prime tube. As it oozes out because the packings are starting to wear, what happens is you'll hear your sprayer, you're not using it, and like 5 minutes down the road, you hear your sprayer go.
He said close to prime, but on top.
Well, it depends on what sprayer he's talking about.
440.
Close to the primer, so.
Close to the prime, but top.
So, so it could be leaking. This is the prime, and this is a 440. No, this is a 410, so it's kind of the same lower end. If it's leaking out of here, that's your packings. Your packings are going bad. And so, like I explained it here, if it's leaking out of here, packings going bad. If the sprayer is starting to cycle, like, say every 5 minutes, it goes doot, 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 and then or even 2 minutes, doot, 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 and it just cycles to build back up pressure. The packings are worn, paint's leaking by the packings, and so you're losing pressure, and it's wanting to build pressure back up. I had a Titan 410 leaking out right here. I pulled it apart, and the top packing on it was, when it was brand new, it was pushed in, and it was kinked when it was pushed in. So when it was brand new, it was leaking out right here out of the top, right there, because the top packing was installed improperly. And so pulled it out, just stuck a new one in, and away you go. But out of here, if it's leaking out of the prime valve, like this whole thing will actually come off, and there's a whole little mechanism right there that you can replace. But we do sell, I'm now selling parts, not OEM parts, so I'm selling Bedford parts. So if you do any repairs to any of your sprayers, we now have parts that are significantly less than OEM parts. So OEM parts are very expensive, like gun repacking kits. You're probably gonna cost you 50% less buying from Bedford, and Bedford is all USA made parts and products. Everything's made in the USA, so their tips, their gun repacking kits, their sprayer repacking kits. I've used them for years and years and years, and now I'm a dealer for them, and so I can get them to you. So we started to slowly put them on our website. So if you need parts, you can go to our website, idahopainter.com, and find some parts. So just a reminder, I am going to be giving away a spray gun. In order to, on this video, we're going to go find out Reamaze, who we're going to give it to. So you got to go to Reamaze, which is our website, idahopainter.com. Go down to the right-hand corner and just hit the little help icon. Tell us why you need the gun in 517 tip, and we're going to select somebody to give it to. I'm also going to be giving away a couple shirts, paint life shirts to some people. Any more questions?
So what's on the other side of that thing?
See if there's any more tools.
Yeah, 'cause we are slowly getting the store ready.
Oh, here's another. So this is a tool made by a painter. So the 2-edged knife is the best 5-in-1 tool you will ever carry. So that is a painter out of Florida. So he's a really cool guy, and he owns a painting company. He has multiple products that he's invented. He's the roll a bucket, but the 2-edged knife is simply amazing.
Matt says, I'm a big fan. I'm in the middle of painting my first house right now. Don't quit. You can do it.
Don't quit. And you know what? Here's something that I learned early on in my career. Is everything's fixable. So if you get a run, if you spill paint, if you spill it on the roof, it's all fixable. It's how you go about the fix or the mess you created. Don't panic, relax, and just take care of the problem at hand or the mistake at hand. I just did a video just recently where I was out at a commercial site, and I do have people filming me, when I'm doing stuff to teach and educate. So I was painting this commercial building solo, and one of the camera men, my great cameraman, he's absolutely amazing. He accidentally kicked over my bucket of paint, my cut-in bucket, right in the middle of the parking lot. And you could panic because you're white paint primer in a parking lot. It could be a bad situation. But my wife was keen enough to tell everybody to continue to film, me cleaning up this mess, and talk through the process, how I went about cleaning it up, and you can't even tell what had happened. There was quite a bit of paint that was spilled.
So do you have any spray guns that you could recommend, and why?
So I can. So this is the one I have hooked to all my sprayers. Right here, here's the RX Pro, and I'm going to tell you this one's used right here. So I'll tell you the difference, and this is an RX80. You can get the RX80 with a 2-finger. There's a significant difference in trigger pull, how light this is compared to this. The RX80 is significantly stiffer than the RX Pro. The RX Pro has a really light trigger pull, and it's not too light. There's another manufacturer that makes spray guns, and they have one that the trigger pull is way too light. And when I first felt that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And here's the thing, is when you're spraying all day long, and I only use 2 fingers, not 4 fingers, 2. You can start to get tendonitis, arthritis, if you're spraying as long as I have, and you're spraying 8 hours a day, your finger's gonna get exhausted. A lighter trigger pull is good, because you're less likely to have fatigue. But if it's too light, what happens with the other gun, you have accidental trigger pulls. And that could be not good, especially when you could be spraying 3,000 PSI out of this gun. Having accidental trigger pulls is a really bad thing. So there's a fine line between being too stiff, just right, and too light. So 2 fingers. The other thing is this has packings in it that are, I think, 40% less to repack a gun like this than than all the Graco guns or the LX80 gun or RX80 gun. Significantly less money. The LX80 gun is really stiff. So And then the packing inside this, the seat is reversible. So the first packing is basically for free. And some of the guns out there, like a Contractor 2 gun, if you buy an OEM packing, it's almost not even cost effective to buy it and repack it. You might as well just toss the gun. This makes it so it's repackable. So that's a couple of really key features about this gun. It has some other things I really don't care about, is like these things, I just think they get in the way, but to hook on a ladder, hook on your belt or something like that. I think, the safety on it, it's more like a drill type safety, so it's easy to access. One thing I find is I have a lot of accidental set the gun down and now the safety's on. That irritates me a whole lot.
So that's enough for the gun. Somebody
Okay.
says, which paint sprayer is the best, good for professional use?
Then that comes down to budget. So, and how much you're spraying. If you're a professional painter, my assumption is you're painting year round. I don't have a 440. We're now a Titan dealer, so I'm gonna be selling Titan pumps inside the in the Paint Life store. So that has no influence or doesn't make me biased, when it comes to the pumps. Before I ever sold a pump here on the store, I had Titan pumps, used them for years. I had a Titan 440, and it was a 440i, had it for 3 years, and did interior, exterior painting. I did repaints, new construction. I sprayed as small as 310 tips, all the way up to 619 tips with that Titan 440. Absolutely amazing. That is over like 20 years ago, somewhere around there. I still have the pump. It still actually works. I'm a big believer in Titan small pumps. This is very similar to that pump. This is a Titan 410, so this is a newer version of the 440i, and it doesn't have like any bells and whistles on it. It's very simple what it has on there, not very much to break. And so very similar to the 440i, absolutely love this pump. The 440 Impact has some things like a push ball release valve on it, has an automatic oiler on it, some of those convenience things that you'll pay a little bit more money for, but just to me, they're just more things to break.
So what's the second size pump you would do?
So now you're gonna probably drum. I have small pumps and I have large pumps in my vehicle. If you're gonna be painting, we were doing three to five exteriors a week. You're gonna need something large, and I use here 1140. This is a sprayer. The other sprayer I'd used for years and years and years with no issues ever. The only thing that ever broke down on it was a transducer went out on it, and that's very common in the wintertime if you don't winterize your pumps. Easy, just unplug it and put a new one in. But you can run a lot more hose, and I run 3/8 inch hose. So now I'm gonna work my pump a lot less. I run 50 feet of 3/8, and then I run either 100 or 150 of 1/4 inch hose. That way I typically set my sprayer up one time. I don't have to move it anymore throughout the day. It'll go around the whole house both ways, and that's why I like a bigger pump. So you have to have a big pump to run lots of hose like that. And
What
so,
other brands are good?
I really like Tritech. So I actually am a fan of Tritech. I really like the whole stripped down thing. Tritech is all metal. There is no plastic on it. It's all USA made. I love USA made products. They make a great pump. I like the Tritech. I think it's called an X5, or now the numbers X5, X9. I think I have an X5 and X9. Hopefully I'm not messing up the numbers. But I got a small pump and a very large pump of Tritechs, and I like them both. The one thing with all metal is they are really dang heavy. So, but it's got that whole aluminum, aircraft look to it, which I personally like. I think it's really cool. There's no colors to it other than silver and black, just metal.
So if you were buying the blue brand, Graco, what size pumps would you start with?
So I have multiple Graco pumps. I've got probably 3 or 4 Graco pumps. I've used Graco 695 for a lot of years with a lot of success. So a Graco 695 I think is a great.
Is that comparable to the 440?
No, the 695 is, you're getting now closer to an 1140.
Okay.
The 695's probably equivalent to like an 840, somewhere around there. The 695 is gonna be around $3,000.
So if somebody's just learning how to spray, what would you have them practice? Like where would be the first place if you got a spray gun in your hand for the first time? What would you, do you have any tips?
So what I do is to get people to learn how to spray. If you're working on interiors, the best thing to do is put a guy in a closet and give him a 310 tip and tell them every end portion you have to release the trigger. That teaches trigger control. The first thing you want to learn is trigger control. So they got to spray an entire closet like a walk-in closet with a 310 tip. Now I would be spraying it with a 619 or greater and probably 5 times faster, and I wouldn't be releasing the trigger. But what you're trying to teach them is trigger control. And then after they learn trigger control in a closet, then you can teach them trigger control outside of a closet on an exterior. You don't want to put them on interior walls or an interior ceiling because you can really mess that up fast. But exteriors, it's really difficult to mess up an exterior. So if you're on exteriors and it's not interior season like us, you just start on an exterior, and on a sided home, and a good place is where you're back rolling it. So somebody's back rolling it, but you want to teach them to where we would not release the trigger and be spraying, from logical start and stops. You want to tell them they have to release the trigger every time and begin to learn trigger control.
So Matt B says he left us a message, so we'll find it on Facebook. He has a Airbnb in Bend, Oregon, and he wanted to offer us a discount if we're interested, and that sounds awesome. We haven't gone anywhere in how many months?
It's been a while, and
Ben's
Oregon
beautiful.
is a really cool place. We've actually been there before, and
maybe after we open the,
you know what? I would like to go to Bend.
Maybe after we open the store, we can
I'm a
recover.
big mountain biker. I race mountain bikes a lot, and I still love riding. I ride road bikes and stuff too. So
Frank says he's starting to paint his exterior of his house. What tips should I use?
A lot of this is personal preference, but if you're new in the game, start smaller and move your way up. But move your way up to a certain point. I moved my way up to using 619 tips, but then went back to down to 515 tips that I used for years and years and years. And I used a red Titan Hot 515 tip. And the 515 tip is, to me, the best balance between speed and controlling overspray. A lot of guys that talk about overspray, well, what size tip are you using? Are you using a 619? I know a guy, really good painter, and he sprays exteriors with a 1221. Now, you want overspray, that's going to be some serious overspray. But you know how fast you can paint exterior? If you're doing new construction, it don't matter because there's nothing around but dirt. But when you're painting houses and you got houses right close by, the 515 is the best balance between overspray and speed. And I use high production tips. The high production tip lasts a lot longer than an HEA tip. So HEA tips are amazing for fences and ceilings, but they don't last as long.
So for people that are just joining us, could you tell them how they could win that gun?
So I'm going to give away this gun. We're going to pick somebody today.
I thought it was the other one.
No.
Nope, that one? Okay.
This is an LX80. We're going to give away an RX Pro.
Another day?
The next show. We're going to do a Facebook Live show, not today, but another day where we're going to give away, who knows, we may do one today. This is YouTube, and if you're watching this and you're watching it 5 days from now, unfortunately you can't win the gun because it will already be given away. So we're gonna pick somebody today that gets on ReAmaze and, you know, says, hey, I want the gun, has a good reason why you need the gun. So I have, opening the store, I started going through all my supplies and restocking my new trailer and stuff. I opened up a box of my repair parts and guns, and I had a whole lot of guns. And I'm like, I'm never gonna use all these guns again, so I'm gonna give them away. I'm gonna give away several at our store here. So if you wanna win one, you gotta come to our store. I'm gonna give away, when we open our store, we're gonna be giving away a whole lot of stuff, because I know that's what my wife likes to do.
That is very true.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the Contractor Graco gun and the Titan RX?
So the Contractor, so Graco has, you know, multiple guns, and the Contractor Graco gun, I'm not sure, because there's the new blue one that I'm not a super big fan of, but the Contractor gun, I'm a big fan of that gun. And you know, why they, you know, invented this other gun, I'm not quite sure, you know, because I don't think it's a great gun. But the Contractor gun, you can drop it off a roof over and over and over, and it will never ever break. I've never had any component on a Contractor gun break, a Contractor gun or a Contractor 2 gun. So they're great, great guns. There's nothing fancy about them. They don't have all this really nice, fancy looking metal that looks like crap after, you know, a week of using it, because it gets paint all over it. So it doesn't matter about the colors. The colors mean nothing to me, really. It doesn't have any plastic on it. Like this has got plastic.
He meant the new
on the
Graco
handle.
one that's made with a finger trigger, way lighter.
Yeah, so that's it's the Contractor PC gun is what that one's called. So that actually, and I'm don't quote me on this, but when it first came out, there was all kinds of issues with the gun. And one of them was the trigger pull was too light, and you were having accidental trigger pulls on it and stuff all the time. That was an issue. There was another issue with the packings on it, and a few things that had to be replaced on it continually. And one of my friends is, he fixes sprayers, parts, guns and stuff, and he couldn't even keep the parts in stock because they were breaking so fast and quick. I think they've resolved a lot of that. The trigger pull for somebody, I was gonna bring one of those today and I forgot it. The trigger pull, it's nice when you're old like me and have tendonitis and arthritis like I do, because it doesn't take much to pull the trigger. I don't like the trigger, it adjusts, slides up and down, so you can go from 2 fingers to 3 fingers to 4 fingers. For the life of me, I don't understand why you would ever want to have 4 fingers on your gun, on your trigger, because you have no control of the gun itself, of holding it. If you watch, just get on social media and watch Instagram, see how many guys have 4-finger guns and are spraying like this. And the reason why they're doing that is they have more control of the gun because they're holding it down here.
That does not look good, though.
And because this is too long, you need 2 fingers. I made a video of how to cut this down and turn it into a 2-finger gun without doing anything, but just cutting this down. And that's what you really should do, because you'll have 2 fingers on the trigger, 2 fingers on the gun. That gives you more control of the gun. And so and then the other thing, there's a bunch of plastic stuff on that gun that I just really don't like. And so, but of all the guns sitting on the shelf, I do have to say, it's the coolest looking gun on the shelf, and brand new in your hand. It feels really nice. And but to me, just parts breaking and stuff is, I see a lot of people complaining about parts breaking and stuff. My friend that's fixing them, was fixing them like crazy.
So Ice 427 said he'd like to win the gun since his was stolen about 2 weeks ago. Tell them they need to go to idahopainter.com and go to the help button and say, I want to win, and that's how they're going to pick a winner. Those are available now.
Yeah, so some people, the RZ masks, I started wearing the RZ masks and people started asking me about them. I just saw them at a show in Vegas. I think it was in Vegas where I met the guys that created this. And I've always worn the silicone 3M mask, and you put this on, it's cloth, and it has a charcoal respirator inside of it. And it's so nice not to have that silicone thing that causes acne, or it gets all greasy. I'd have to clean it with alcohol every single day that I put it on, because it gets all greasy and oily, and it doesn't breathe very well on your face, and they're just not as comfortable. The RZ mask is all cloth, and I've been selling them, and they're black. And I was wearing one that was lime green, because that's what they gave me at the show. And so I ordered a display of them for our store here, and I wanted just black, and guess what they sent me? They sent me lime green ones. So there's the RZ respirator. This is one that I'm not gonna put it on, because then it's brand new.
Are we gonna give one away?
We can give one away if you want.
Yeah, we'll give one away there. So if you want to win anything today, you have to go to Idaho Painter.
Go to idahopainter.com. Down there, the little
Help button.
icon, the help button, click the help button and tell us why you want to win it. They have replaceable active carbon filters that go right inside the filter, and it's a mesh cloth filter mask. So we got lime green in now by accident. So since a lot of our stuff is lime green, I probably would just start carrying them now, because people are asking for them.
So for the gun repacking, and saying that sometimes it's cheaper or just better to buy another gun than to pay to repack it, does Bedford make repacking kits?
I just heard the reamaze. Somebody got a reamaze and put something on there. I heard, because it goes blip, and it makes this little sound.
So that means they're trying to enter to win either a shirt, a mask, or a gun.
Yeah. So Bedford started making all kinds of parts for spraying compressors and stuff. I think like 50 years ago, somewhere around there. And they make every single part for all the major manufacturers of airless sprayers, all the internal parts, external parts, filters, all that stuff. It's all made 100% in the USA. I started buying Bedford repacking kits off of a website a while back, probably 10 years ago, and it saved me like 40% of the cost of what I would buy it at my local paint store. The same thing OEM. What I noticed is I did buy at the same time some off-brand China ones that were made in China, and I got them, and all the guns leaked after repacking my guns. They still leaked. And so you always want to buy trusted off-brand, and Bedford's not off-brand because they're like a major brand in the world of parts, making parts for sprayers. And so they're all USA made, USA company that's been around for a long time and selling parts for a long time. All the tolerances of all their products are almost exactly the same as OEM parts. So you can trust Bedford stuff.
So somebody just said that Conrad said, "I'm very happy with the Premier Windsor brush. Thank you so much." So you just started carrying that, huh?
Yeah, so I started carrying the Windsor because some guys were asking for that.
So maybe it was Conrad.
And it might have been Conrad. Somebody on the help app on our store asked me multiple times, would you carry the Windsor? And so I had one sent to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually like that filament blend. So, and it's made by Premier. Premier simply makes some of the best brushes you'll ever use.
So what is that brush for?
So the Windsor it's a really stiff blend of filaments on it. So if you want a super stiff brush, the Windsor is the brush you want. So that could be for exterior painting, really rough surfaces. It could be interior, doing cut-ins.
He said for precise cutting.
I was saying interior painting for doing cut-ins with thicker coatings. The Windsor is a great brush. Nylon polyester blend, and the brushes, Premier brushes, are all handmade right in New York. So that's another in the family. That
he said he has a lot of smooth walls in Illinois.
Oh, there you go. The owners of Premier, the company, are amazing people. They make amazing products right there in New York. We definitely want to support, them, and they're making these things. The women on the line making these things are amazing, and they're doing a great
He said
job.
not too much texture, all smooth drywall.
Premier makes my two favorite brushes, the Riverdale and the Montauk. I use the Montauk for interior painting, the Riverdale for exterior painting. They use all DuPont filaments. DuPont's hands down best filaments in the world. Nobody makes better. If you don't believe me, do your research. DuPont is the best. Chinex, this is Tinex and Oreo. So there you have those.
So isn't there like a brush buddy over there, and that's made by a painter?
For painters, by painters, Charles Martz. Charles is a carpenter, so that's where we say not just painters, but guys in the trades. We want to support anybody in the trades that's creating products. He's a carpenter, does all his carpentry work, but he paints his own work, and he created the brush buddy, the very best brush holder I've ever used. It's all copper. He makes them in his garage. He packages them with his very own hands, and I think they're super cool. I have them on my brushes, and you guys should get one. So, for painters, by painters, and Paint Life is painters helping painters.
So
we want to.
you have another shelf to hang on the wall.
Yeah, I've been talking here for quite a while.
Almost an hour.
Oh my gosh. What time is it?
I have no idea.
'Cause we gotta go work out, so CrossFit tonight.
TechCore just got his hose whip in from you guys today. Awesome. Hope you
Cool.
love it.
Hope
it
you
helps
enjoy it, so.
So one more time, if people want to win the shirt, the mask, or the gun, what do they need to do?
Go to our store, our online store, idahopainter.com, go down the help icon, bottom right, click on that little pop-up box.
Say, I want to win.
Where you can ask questions. That's where people are asking me questions every day, all day long, 24 hours a day. I do sleep though. Just tell us why you want the gun, and we're gonna.
Or anything else.
Or tell us why you want a shirt or the RZ mask. So, because I gotta go. This racking back here, I'm hanging the racking on the wall, so we can hang stuff on the wall. So I gotta get back to doing that. But I gotta go work out too. So CrossFit Fireside. If you're in the Treasure Valley area here, Boise Meridian, if you want to be fit, go to CrossFit Fireside in Meridian, and they will kick your butt. So.
How do we end it?
Not physically, but mentally.
Do I push the X?
The exit probably.
The X?
You can push the X, and we can see what happens.
Are you sure you want to stop screaming?